Dearly beloved, we are gathered here on the holiest day of my religious calendar, the day that the Sandman TV show premieres on Netflix. All bow down. I was a terrible gaming fan. I got about 10 minutes into the first episode when I got a call from my daughter's camp that she wanted to come home from the first day or the last day of camp. So I didn't see very much. I know, Will, you got to see it. I know this. Explain yourself. This is where we talk about crowdfunding campaigns after we talk about Sandman for 2 hours. So, Will, go.
Oh, I wanted to have a Sandman watch party because I didn't get to see it yet, which actually means that I'm the worst gaming fan ever.
So I've got you by 10 minutes. Will has me by two episodes. Garth, I believe you said you got us by an episode.
No, I haven't watched any.
Oh, you haven't watched any?
I haven't much to watch.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, all right. So a lot of us, Will is the one holding court on Sandman. But you know what? Well, I guess because people have crowdfunding campaigns and they've done us the honor of coming to talk about them, why don't we do the thing we invited you to do? So thank you very much. Explain Yourself is a show where we do talk about new crowdfunding campaigns, or in this case, returning and or extended crowdfunding campaigns. Matta, this is I think you're like the co-host now. I think it's Will and I and you as the co-host, right?
Yay! Honorary co-host.
So if you were going to get somebody's attention on sacrimony at a con, how would you do so?
I would say, do you like a heartfelt story about a demon girl and her mom who has no idea what the hell is going on?
Very good. All right, so I'm going to go with the hell. Let's go to Skinned. Garth, how would we talk about Witch Creek Road Skinned?
I'm horrible with self-promotion, so I would probably be sharing my table with my friend, pitch his book, and then he would in turn pitch mine.
Okay, so you tag team it. Can you call him and have him kind of on a...
Yeah, so Witch Creek Road is survival horror. Basically, a group of teenage kids go into the woods, take a wrong turn, ended up somewhere they don't want to be. Skinned it's not a direct sequel, but it's set in that same kind of world. Two sisters kind of survive a run-in with basically a skinned killer, and they each react in different ways and kind of go insane in different ways. So it's the story of their descents into madness.
Awesome. All right. And Kurt, you do not have a Kickstarter campaign. You have an Indiegogo extension. I'm not exactly sure what they call that. But if, like me, we messed up and we missed Spectrus and Sabanian, how would you get my attention on this book and get me to go to Indiegogo to catch up?
I tell you, it's a story about the ghost of Cleopatra's top assassin and her demon associate trying to push their way into the world of the living. So.
Assassins and demon assistants, I'm in. So you did very well. I know that you have had a long day. You've been talking a lot. So why don't we get into that Indiegogo campaign first? This is a Kickstarter that you funded. When did this campaign close?
On Kickstarter, it ended on July 22nd. And I'm using what's called, for the first time, I've done 3 Kickstarters in the past, and the first time I'm experimenting with Indiegogo. Basically, it's called Indiegogo In Demand, and you kind of roll over your Kickstarter into their platform. So it's very fluid. I thought it would be much more difficult than it has been. It's pretty easy. Should I go ahead and share?
Yeah, please. I'd love to look at the page.
Okay.
Yeah, it's user friendly to do this. I've been a little bit intimidated by the thought of doing so.
Yeah, it's like you basically do have to kind of add in. It will import your items, but you have to make a few minor tweaks and things like that. But you can see here the original amount that I raised on Kickstarter is here at the bottom. So I raised a little over $7,000 on Kickstarter, and then since July 22nd, I think I took a day or two off. I've since raised about another $900 on Indiegogo.
Yeah, that's great. So you said this is Cleopatra's assassin and a demon assistant. You've done 4 issues. How long is this first arc, or how long is the series planned out to be?
The first arc will be 6 issues. I plan on releasing a trade after that, and then we'll see if people keep buying it. Then I'll keep going with it. I definitely have ideas for the next arc. Basically, each arc is probably going to be a new villain. So the first villain will be the Bloodshade, who was introduced in the last issue. He's kind of the I guess it's a bit cliche, but he's the Joker to Spectress's Batman. Kind of her nemesis that she doesn't know about just yet. So
it might be a cliche, but they've made 19 Batman movies and like 16 Joker ones. So if you're going to have a cliche, go to the one that the people who, well, I was going to say the people who make movies go back to, but now I should say the people who make movies and then don't release them go back to.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Hey, Kurt, you have a lot of really great covers on this issue. I know I backed 1 or 2 of them. Are those also available as part of the indie in demand?
Yes, everything. Basically, everything that was on the Kickstarter has been imported into this. A few of the bells and whistles have not been, like original art and things like that, and the chance to be drawn in as a character. So not everything is here that was in the Kickstarter, but the meat of it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, this is the most covers I've launched in a Kickstarter and in a crowdfund before. So yeah, I've got the interior artist Topper Helmers. This is his original cover. Anvu, CB Zane, Christina, Mog Park, Ivan Tao, and Mark Gunn. So yeah, maybe I don't know what everybody thinks. Everybody's got an opinion. Maybe I went overboard on covers this time. I don't know. It was still fun though. So.
Well, when you decided what to import over, was there a thought pattern of, should I keep some of this special to Kickstarter because I want the people, or was it just kind of the ease of delivering through? What was the mindset between those rewards?
It was really both. I didn't want, a Kickstarter is going to be my primary launching platform. I don't want to. I want my fans, my backers. I want them to back on Kickstarter, and that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what they're most familiar with. And this is a way to maybe reach a few extra people on Indiegogo and to catch a few of my fans that maybe missed out for whatever reason.
Or buttheads like me.
There's always, I'm not gonna judge. Things always happen. You never know. So.
Well, I've got a kind of, it's an interesting question, I think, because I see a lot of creators, as soon as the Kickstarter ends, they'll set up a pre-order store on something like BackerKit. And then I've also seen creators do the in-demand. Did you look at both of those, and did you weigh the pros and cons? I'm just curious, kind of what influenced your decision.
For my survey, my backer survey, I'm going to use what's called Pledgebox.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try that. I'm trying a lot of new things on this last launch. Pledgebox it's kind of that sweet spot where BackerKit you have to pay a flat fee and a percentage of what you take in,
Mm-hmm.
and so that from what I understand, you want to have at least around 200 backers to use BackerKit, and I'm not quite there yet. I was at 169. I had a great campaign, and it's the most I've ever raised, but I'm not quite at that point yet where I'm at between 200 and 300 backers to try out BackerKit, where I've taken in enough. So I'm going to go with Pledgebox. They take, I believe it's just 3% of your backer survey of any additional things added to backer orders. So I'm starting a little more cautiously with Pledgebox. It is still really complicated. They do the same thing. They import everything, and you've got to kind of tweak things. And it's a bit confusing, especially with the shipping. And I'm still kind of trying to work that out.
I know that every time I do BackerKit, it's having to relearn the language, and CrowdOx was a slight, like French to Spanish, a different variation on the same Latin. So it is hard to do. It gets a little easier every time, but every time you change languages, it gets a little more confusing. So if you do enjoy Pledgebox and you feel like it gives you what you need, you might enjoy staying with it, or you might play around with BackerKit if you do pass that 200. I don't think there's a bad choice between it.
Yeah, and Kevin, I bet that the process will be much smoother for backers that actually for creators that actually use BackerKit as their crowdfunding platform. Maybe, I don't know. You think
something tells me they might make it a little linear? Yes, I think they might, but we shall see. I'm not abandoning Kickstarter for BackerKit crowdfunding just yet, but if you're a creator out there that's going to do it, let Will and I know, because we want to hear about it.
Lots of people want to hear about it.
I want to hear about it. I'm too chicken shit to try it myself.
It's a brave new world. We had Leslie Julian on, and they did crowdfunder for their last campaign, and they had a successful campaign. But when you're fertilizing a new field, and it's the first time you've ever planted trees, boy, it takes them a long time to sprout, I think. So I'm gonna stick maybe where the farm's already. It hasn't been slashed and burned quite as
recently,
or as rototilled so recently. Yes, and like Meta, I'm too I'm not courageous enough to decide to do those things, but I like having the option just in case, like some megalomaniac buys Kickstarter and
I think Crowdfunder actually gave extensions on people's campaigns or something, as far as I saw. Like, that's really nice of them.
They did. It's an interesting thing that I thought was nice for them, but also might be a little bit scary, because one of the great things about crowdfunding is if you miss it, you missed it, even though we're talking about Indiegogo where we didn't miss it. But that real feeling of I've got to get in now or I don't. Whereas if people can just extend until they get the goal, you might lose that fear of missing out, which is the secret sauce to crowdfunding as well, because if people can buy it whenever they want to, they'll get to it next year.
Yeah, they'll just bookmark it and forget.
Yeah, so I noticed that they could do it, and I can see where that is a positive, but I wonder in the long run if that will end up being a positive.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's something they just did up front, since these are sort of like the inaugural campaigns or whatnot, and they really wanted to make it a success and be like, hey, we raised money, but doing that in the long term doesn't seem like a good idea.
It's worrisome to me, although I was happy it happened for both campaigns I backed. So with Indiegogo in demand, what is the cut that they take? Because I haven't done it. Like I said, I'm too intimidated by some of this stuff.
It is a bigger bite than Kickstarter.
Okay.
It's a little over 10%. They have a I don't know how much. Hold on a second here. Let's see here. So
that's a cool background.
So there's processing fees, and there's a platform fee. So it does add up to. I'm gonna
go out on a limb, and I'm gonna take a guess, and I'm gonna do the Johnny Carson. I'm gonna say 8% to Indiegogo, and about 2.9% for Stripe fees. That's what I'm gonna guess it.
That's probably
Was I close?
That's probably I haven't crunched it exactly. But
I'm gonna give Garth credit. He put it in the private chat. I didn't have it, but Garth was on it. So I want to give you your props for knowing what's going on, Garth.
Yeah, I think if memory serves, I think that's what it was, because I did try in demand as well.
And what was your
okay.
experience? Did you feel like it was worth doing? Oh, and the question for Kurt is this like a 3-week thing, 4-week thing? How long is this up?
It's going to be 3 weeks. It goes through to a week from Sunday.
Okay.
So the 13th of August, yeah.
Garth, did you feel like it was worth it, or?
I did not.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but like I'm also Canadian, and they hit us with even more fees.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't worth it. They didn't do what they said they were going to do. Yeah.
No, that's fair. I'd love to hear everybody's experience. So we all know this, and maybe Indiegogo can, make it better in the future if they hear that they didn't make somebody happy with it. But Kurt, I'm sorry I cut you off. You were about to say something.
Oh no, that's all right. That's surprising. That's disappointing. That they would pay more. You'd pay more just for being in Canada. I don't get that at all.
But so far, I mean, it looks like it's been something that's working for you. For this, for kind of
you said an extra 900.
Yeah, after the fees are taken away, I'm probably at right around $800, and that's kind of a nice. You know what? I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter. So let's look at the money. So right here, this and Kickstarter doesn't do this. Is kind of a nice little plug here. It will give you your estimated disbursement.
Oh, cool.
So, after all the fees are taken care of here. So here are the fees. Platform fee, I don't know where that comes from, but it's definitely more than 10% of the gross funds. And then here's another 3% plus 20% per transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at least probably 13, 14%.
Which sounds or feels like a lot until you realize that if you're selling through a comic shop, it's 50%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this isn't 10%, somewhere around 10% between the different groups, 5 to 13% isn't bad for adding an extra $700 to the campaign. It's about getting new readers, I'm going to assume, but the extra money is certainly helpful.
Oh yeah. And this is going to cover, so basically it's covering the 10% of what Kickstarter takes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then from here on out, it's, the rest is gravy. So yeah, no, I'm not complaining. Well, maybe I am.
It's okay. You can.
They take 13 or 14%, but but it's still extra money in my pocket. Like you say, maybe more backers, more exposure, and that's always a good thing. So,
From a time investment standpoint, to get from the end of your Kickstarter to the in demand, are you talking about a half a day or a day?
I took a day off after the Kickstarter.
You lazy bastard.
Yeah, I don't know. It stressed me out. I needed a day away from the computer, but I had it all set up in advance, and I think I launched it. It closed on Friday night at midnight, and then I launched it that following Sunday at like 3 p.m. So.
Are you able to start setting it up before your campaign ends, or does Kickstarter have to be over? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's a lot of work in those 18 hours.
Yeah. No, I did it in little pieces here and there throughout the Kickstarter, so it worked out well.
So we usually, when we're looking at the Kickstarter, we ask about the team. So let's do it. Who do you have on as you said your interior artist when you did the covers, but who is your team on this one?
That's Topper Helmers. He is just number one, a fantastic guy and a great artist. He actually works for theme. He designs theme parks in addition to doing comics. And he's a bit of an older school guy. I met him at a show several years ago, and we clicked really well, and we've worked together ever since. And he actually met Wesley Wong at a show, who's the colorist. And really lucky to have Wesley. Wesley just colored Wonder Woman Historia issue 2 for DC.
Wow.
So yeah, and he works for Marvel, doing like reconstruction for Marvel. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I think it's like restoration or reconstruction.
That's interesting. Oh, and you've got SK. He's a Facebook buddy, and he's running a campaign, I believe, right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's Wordsmith. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's a great guy. This is my first book with SK, and he's been the book's in the lettering stage right now, so he and I have been back and forth, and he's doing really well.
Good. And then you have Mog Park on the covers. She's awesome. Just amazingly talented and super cool. And did a cover some guy named Will.
Yeah, she's great. She's fun to work with, and really put some amazing stuff together. I mean, honestly, it's the same with all An and Chris. Enut, he was at the show today. I chatted with him a bit briefly. Really super guy. CB Zane, Ivan Tao, and MR Gunn actually should be on that list too. I met him at a Michigan show. Talented guy. I'm gonna keep using him as well.
Nice. Which show were you at?
I was at C2E2.
Oh, you're at the big one. Wow.
Yeah. And
you are tired. We got to get you to bed, man.
Yeah.
And it's downtown, and yeah, it's a ways to go, but it's worth it. I had a good day today. So.
Shawnee Mars just said all of those artists listed are amazing. Everyone that I recognized I've got to give this one a good look after the fact.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I'm lucky to work with all those people.
Well, sweet. What we're going to need you to do is, after this all closes, kind of give us either an email or come back on and let us know what your experience with Indiegogo Demand felt like, so that we can kind of get it at the end. But yeah, even if you had another 100, 200, that is a great little boost to the campaign. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm probably about 90%. I'm about 90% sure I'll probably add an extra 2 or 3 weeks to the end of my campaigns.
How is your thought process on the marketing? Are you hitting as hard as the Kickstarter?
No, I'm not. Kickstarter, I went full on with Facebook ads, Instagram, posting in Facebook groups, every daily, and I really kind of wanted this just to be there and ease off a little bit. So still been doing promotions and talking to people, live streams, which is always fun. But yeah, I'm not pushing this one as hard as far as promotion goes. So.
No, I totally understand that. So stick with us as long as you have the energy. But if you're at a show, you've done other things, we understand if you got a dip. So please, hang with us as long as you have the energy, and then go the F to bed.
That's right.
Sure, I can hang around for a little bit more. That's cool.
Awesome. Well, Matta's campaign is already ready to share. So why don't we go to Sacrimony? This is Sacrimony number 1, everybody. This is the premiere issue. And you might ask, well, why has she been on a long time? So Matta, why are we talking about Sacrimony issue 1?
We're talking about issue 1 because I'm getting it reprinted because I ran out. And adding on.
Wait. No.
Oh, well, I sold out. Yes, I sold out way ahead of time, which is a great problem to have.
Yes, I am very excited to say you are a sellout. And I say that with you should be so proud of that. That's great.
I am proud to be a sellout.
Now go ahead.
Man. Yeah, so the thought of building the cost of reprinting book 1 into the book 5 campaign scared the shit out of me. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do a spontaneous campaign here to just get it reprinted quickly before 5 goes live, which is going to be in October, and I will be back on the show. That's a threat, not a promise. So
we have a Facebook user, which is always a nice mystery. Sacrimony Hype. We've all been waiting for
all
this.
the Facebook
So-
users have been waiting for this because
So
I'm a sellout.
That's great. So whoever you are, let us know in the comments so we can give you your actual credit. But we do have also Pool Q Rona and Sacrimony's worth it. Goddamn right it is.
Duh, you guys.
And we have, I believe, Mariah Curry of Usual Haunts, and also been on the show before in the audience too. So hey,
Hi,
Mariah.
Mariah. What up? Lost my train of thought. Yeah,
Sorry.
so no, it's all good.
Okay, so you've sold out almost of issue 1. Have you sold out of your first printing with this Kickstarter?
Yes, I have, because I only had like 3 left after the last campaign. So I was like, well, shit, I got to do something about that. So what I did was, not only did I decide to reprint issue 1 with like the standard cover, but I was like, you know what, let me do some like campy, like stupid, sexy covers and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people seem to love this, like the Red Sonja parody that I did. Like it's doing very well.
I don't think that would ever. Sexy never sells, right?
No, of course not. No.
Not on Kickstarter.
Like glossy boobs, of course not. So yeah, I did that, and I did another cover. Let me just like scroll down. Yeah, I have a little gallery of my covers here that I drew myself because I can't afford to have anybody else draw them. Yeah, so I did a new variant for issue 1, and also a few people wanted a variant for issue 2. So I was like, you know what the hell? Let me do that. And then I've got my 3 and 4 covers, which have been there since their original campaigns. And yeah, I was like, all right, let me try to get some new backers into this first of all. And if there's any collectors out there who want like, matching variant covers or whatever, like cater to them. Why not?
Absolutely. And like you said it in the self-deprecating way, but you can do it. You can actually draw your own covers. Like Will and I cannot. I don't know about Kurt and Garth.
I don't know.
Like,
I would pay like $30 for like a Kevin Joseph edition tart cover. Just saying.
I think that $30 is exactly what my artwork would be worth if I worked on it for the 40 hours for the entire week. So no, I for charity.
I mean, honestly,
I'm really embarrassing myself for charity, not for my own personal gain.
Fair. I enjoy doing covers, so like I will find any excuse to make a new cover. So it's definitely not self-deprecating, but it's like everyone's like, I have all of these amazing cover artists, and I'm like, it's me. I'm the cover artist.
Yeah.
And the interior artist,
and the
writer,
artist.
and the letterer, and the colorist, and yeah, we know you can do everything.
That's amazing.
The weird thing is, like, I'm so desensitized to that because I come from a webcomics background where, like, everyone does that. And then it's like I walk into the regular comics world and everyone's like, oh my God, you can do that. I'm like, wait, why is that weird?
You're a unicorn.
So we do have the answer that we will never guess that it is JL Draco.
Hey, JL.
Of Onishi Press. And I
What a sweetheart.
He would pay $75 for the JK cover if it was made into a t-shirt and wore it at cons afterwards. It's going to say, I'm effing tart acid. That's what it's going to say if I...
Nice.
That is a callback to, what, 6 months ago? But darn it. That's how we do. And Mariah Curry says, I do love when non-artists do art. Yeah, I could probably cure all of you of that love, but I'm not saying I'll never do it. I just won't do it. Also,
I remember Charlie saying he was going to do a variant for you, so like we should get him in on this too.
We'll do connecting covers with our terrible
yes!
convention.
That would be amazing.
Oh no, different Facebook user. I'm getting lost. I don't know. We're doing the best we can with what we have.
Is it just Jail pretending to be like 3 people? Because I'm here for that.
It's been a busy week, guys. Come on, man. Last week at camp, I'm barely hanging on. Okay, so when you come into this campaign, and a lot of it is about being able to sell issue number 1 again, because it's very hard to get people to try your book with issue 2. Now that you've done so well, you're looking at numbers. Is there any thoughts with your inventory of issues 2, 3, and 4, or did you have a chance to print more of those that you don't feel that's as necessary?
I'm well stocked with issues 2, 3, and 4. Like, I'm pretty sure I have enough to last for like this campaign and the next campaign and like a few conventions and stuff. It was just like, it was that issue 1 where I'm like, I don't know if I want to commit to a lot of books. I don't know if people are gonna like the story. Like, oh my god, what do I do, guys? So
that was actually your video. I saw your video from your first campaign. If I would have known you, I would have worn maybe not that, but hey, it worked. You were successful. So
I was like, it feels great, and it's like super surreal still. Like, hey, I'm making this thing, and people are actually giving me money for it. Like, I don't think I'll ever get over that.
Well, I kind of led you with a question, and that wasn't very nice. I think you're doing the right thing. Tyler James says you can never have enough issue 1s, and you can always have too many, 2 through whatever. So I think you are right to do this. Get yourself a bunch of issue 1s, and then you know what? If you sell out issue 2, got 2-week campaign, 1-week campaign.
Yeah, I think I would definitely cut it down to like 10 days or 1 week, because I'm sitting here like, all right, it's funded. Is it over yet? Is it over yet? Is it over yet? Is it over yet?
Okay.
So yeah.
No, I love your campaigns. Your updates are always funny and creative. So you run a campaign every other week. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your cat, was it your cat that you update? Is your cat okay?
Yes, he is okay. There was a scare with his blood work because he's allergic to everything. So like he has to be on immune suppressors, and it was lowering his white blood cell count. And then like the first vet I saw was like, oh my god, bone marrow cancer, and I was like, bitch, are you serious? Like so I had to get another opinion. And yeah, he's doing good. In fact, I have a picture of him in an update if everyone wants to see my beautiful cat and talk about him instead. Was it this one?
We are always here for people's pets, be they live or on graphics on the page. Gorgeous.
Nice.
Yeah, I probably can't get him to come now because he's sleeping, unless I'm like a dick and I wake him up and bring him over here. But that's a whole thing.
Yeah, my dog's on the couch right there. It's not it's always bad.
Quick question for you. You've got now you're going to have a stock of number 1s. You've got 4 issues that you've got printed. Is there a collected edition coming?
Yes.
How many pages total are these first 4 issues altogether?
Well, you know what? I have a handy dandy page count on my page. Also, look at this shit right here, guys. Some nice people said some good stuff about my comic, and I had to put it there.
Who said what? I gotta put my old man glasses on.
Who said this? Who said that?
I think that was that Kevin Joseph guy. You know, he's so difficult to work with. You know,
he's all right. I'll give him a pass. So yeah, page count wise, issue 1 is 30 pages, issue 2 is 30 pages, and 3 and 4 are 31 pages.
Wow, so 122 pages of material. That's pretty awesome.
Actually, it's gonna be 150 pages if I can do my math correctly, because there's gonna be 5 issues in the trade paperback.
Nice.
So there's a ways to go,
and that's coming in October.
Issue 5 actually is coming in October, and the trade paperback is gonna be in February, probably around my birthday.
Happy early birthday!
Awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, but we can't schedule you for February because Will has not set up into next year. But in October,
I'll get on that. I'll get on that.
It's fine. I'll keep bothering you guys. Like, is the schedule up? Is the schedule up?
It's never a bother. We love having you, and we love having. The thing is, if you're watching this and you have a campaign coming up in a couple months and you know actually when it'll be live, please reach out. Mm-hmm. It makes our lives a lot easier just to have 3 or 4 people set up, as opposed to on Wednesday me calling Will and being like, hey, we don't have anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many like podcast hosts who are like, sarcastically saying like, "Oh yes, great, your Kickstarter has 2 days left, and now you're reaching out to us for an interview. Like, what were you expecting, guys?" And like, I don't want to be that asshole.
You know what? You just be the butthead who tells us when you want to be on the show and you got a spot, and that
That's
goes
right.
for Garth. And although I know we're lucky to have Garth, so I'm glad it worked out this week. Kurt and Garth, let us know. You can always come back as well. So we're gonna do this. You've got the catch up tier. If you have not read Sacrimony, check it out. I think it was on that page, but I really couldn't read it. It's such a unique and creative fantasy world that doesn't. It feels like fantasy, but it doesn't feel like fantasy that has been trod on so much that the grass has died. So definitely check it out. It's fun, it's inventive, and it's one singular voice because she do it all.
Still.
And you have such a great. I love your great pitch for number one. It's
Oh,
it's
the
about
single immigrant mom.
Not in any typical order. What's the?
Oh, Tale of Love, Life, and Death in no particular order.
That's the
Yeah.
one. Yes.
Absolutely. Awesome. So we've got it up? Yeah, we got it up. So let's go from some life.
Also, you might recognize some things on the bundle here.
Yeah.
I've got the first Spectress and Sabanian as part of the indie comics. I also got Diary of Night.
Awesome.
And also, Kevin, if you want some exposure, you can totally throw like some tart or something my way. I'll throw it in here.
I would love to, but I am contractually obligated to say I cannot.
Oh.
But SourcePoint Press will allow me to share Morte.
Shit. Yeah, throw it over.
Shot. Okay, yes. We will add Morte to it because I'm allowed to.
Awesome.
I have to respect my publisher's wishes, even if I don't agree with the decisions they've made.
Understandable.
So I can't give Tart out as a digital, unfortunately, anymore.
It's all good. but you have a backup, which is great. See, if I was contractually obligated to not give Sacrimony out, I'd be shut out a lot because I have nothing else.
Well, but the thing about it is, when you have all control, you can do whatever you want. So there's something about staying independent too. Although I have enjoyed my time, and I want to continue having that time. That's why I'm going to listen to them.
Nice. So we've talked about the new covers and everything. I'm gonna guess that maybe the red Unica variant is perhaps a little bit popular.
Yeah, it might actually do better than my other covers, at least like percentage wise. I don't know if it's because it's like some people are like, oh hey, yeah, I'll help out with this campaign and buy this cover, but like percentage wise, at least I think 1/3 of the people who backed this campaign picked it up. I'm like, yeah, pretty cool.
Well, it's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, guys, we can restart the show. Blake's Buzz is in the comments. Hey, as long as you're here, we're happy. So we would love to see you, and you're gonna have to rewatch it because you're gonna check out Spectres and Sabanian's Indiegogo. Blake, we gotta hit your wallet for an Indiegogo. Sorry, buddy. You need to check it out. All right, so let's get into Skinned. I want to make sure we get to Garth, and I really appreciate the timing. I reached out to Garth when I saw he went live, and he said, you know what, Fridays I usually have to go pick up my wife, and I was like, oh man, we're not gonna get to talk. He's like, but not this week. So I'm excited to get into a deep dive. Do you happen to have the page that you can share so that you can show us this terrifying artwork? I think it popped in. You show us the part of it that you want to show us.
I don't know. So essentially, like I said at the beginning, it's just about like two sisters who both survive kind of like a horrifying event, I guess, and it's their kind of like their journey into madness. So it's mostly black and white, some spot color, and yeah, it's like the artist is Keenan. Keenan's been with me for a while now. We've been doing Witch Creek Code for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I love his work. I hope to keep working with him for as long as I can. And yeah, this is for I guess issues 2 and 3, we do have so we've got the traditional covers. We're also doing some variant covers because, I mean, I love Norman Rockwell. I love like the Americana style. So we did the variant covers for that, and we've got just the issue 1 variant cover there too. Because
I'm gonna break in and ask. I've done a 2 comic Kickstarter myself. I actually enjoyed doing it. But what was your thought process to doing issues 2 and 3 together this time?
Yeah, so living in Canada, it's a lot, like just doing shipping and everything. It's really expensive. So it was one of those things where I was planning on doing 4 Kickstarters this year, and then combining 2 and 3 was just going to make it easier for me and cheaper for backers, just because now they could get 2 issues instead of just 1. So that was the main 2 reasons, just for ease and for saving on shipping.
If you don't mind me asking, what do you use to ship?
For US backers, as long as they're not choosing the option to have me sign it, then I use a service in the US to do fulfillment.
I loved what you said about that on your page, because it's what, $13? Okay, so I want your autograph. I pay $13, and you say that is
it's an add-on, so that is, yeah, like, is my signature worth $13? I don't think so, and I really don't. But like, I also shouldn't make that decision for you. So if you want it signed, it's about $10 US.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you're actually paying to ship from Canada. You're not paying for the pin going on the cover. You're paying to ship it, which I don't have any issue if somebody charges for their signature on a Kickstarter or doesn't. I don't actually have a dog in that fight, but I loved the way you were like, hey, look, you're not paying for my autograph. You're paying for the shipping. Just get that out of the way.
Have you ever, I know Kevin and I think Charlie talked to me about Pirate Ship has that, what's that rate, Kevin? Do you remember?
The export, there's a specific export rate that is
like
much
half.
lower. It's a very good price on Pirate Ship. I can't remember the exact verbiage on it, but it's a
you have to have them open it. You have to have them add it for you. So if you don't mind, contact me after, and I'll look it up and see what it is for you. But I know it saved me about half shipping to Australia, about half to ship to Great Britain, even Canada. Which shipping to Canada should be really cheap, but it's not. I don't know.
No. Even shipping inside of Canada is like not cheap. So yeah, so that was the reason for doing 2. I'm also kind of like the opposite of Mata, where I don't want extra comics. So my whole thing is like, I just want to print what I need and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And so with the issue 1 with standard covers, like issue 1 was only for the previous Kickstarter. And so my way around like having an issue 1 for this one is to do the Americana one, where I can have like a variant of issue 1. And then if you didn't get the issue 1 with a previous Kickstarter, you can still follow the theme with issue 2 and issue 3. But yeah, it just saves me from having to have a lot of extra stock, because I don't go to conventions. There's not a lot around me, and I don't have space. So I wish I had like a house with a garage or something, but like I don't have the space.
Yeah. By the way, as has been pointed out, we have no idea who anybody is that says Facebook user, but and to me, it's all
Mark
JL.
Zuckerberg himself.
JL is getting credit for me, but it is probably Zuck. Hey, Zucky. Hey, you want to? I've said a lot of bad things about you, but if you want to sponsor the podcast,
we'll continue to say bad things about you.
I will, but I will cash those checks. I will put the meta money in and still call you an alien. Anyway, Mark Zuckerberg /JL says / somebody else says, Pirate Ship currently does not work for Canada.
Darn it.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That stinks.
There was another Mark Zuckerberg comment that says, either Skinned or Witch Creek Road is legit the creepiest comic book I've ever read. And I agree. It is a wonderful, scary horror. Witch Creek Road felt like a synthesis of a Japanese horror and a 80s slasher. What were the inspirations to Skinned?
Mostly it was like boredom.
Oh,
and what I wished, like, because I used to live in Japan, I lived there for 6.5 years. And while I was living in Japan, I would have like the occasional weekend where I just rent whatever cheesy B horror movies were at the local Tsutaya, get some frozen pizza and just stay home, watch movies, and yeah, just relax.
Mm-hmm.
But there were so many times where I was like, I wish this had happened instead. So I just started making notes, and eventually like Witch Creek Road kind of like grew out of the notes that I was writing down.
By the way, I apologize. We're having an outing. We Facebook user is now possibly Charlie Stickney, but then also Facebook user says, Shawnee, I was going to out Charlie Stickney, which is probably Charlie saying he's going to out Charlie. We're having Inception in the comments. It is way too late.
My brain just broke.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be time travel in a second, right? I mean,
and no, jokes on both of you. Zuckerberg hacked my account. Listen, you guys do whatever you want to do. I just want some Zuck money. I just want some Zuck money. I will not be nice to him. I will not be his friend. I will take his money.
Missed opportunity to say Zuck bucks.
Thank you for saving us. So I apologize, Garth, on that. I was, like Inception. The top was spinning and then it started to fall, and I got a little bit worried.
Yeah.
No, I love that you are using the same artist because you guys work so well together. When you send the script, and we may have gone over this, but it's been a while, like how much leeway does the artist have to play with your script and the layouts and things?
Well, there was definitely a lot more leeway at the beginning. And then eventually when we got signed on to Webtoons, there was less leeway, like just because we needed to make sure there was like a certain panel count for like episodes and that. But I very rarely tell them like angles or anything like that. Like at most I'll just describe like panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, and the basic sort of action. Sometimes I don't even give him action, just give him the dialogue. And he's so good that he just translates it onto the page really, really well. Because I don't want to try to like hinder him, because like as a writer, it's like I can see in my head like what I want, but translating it onto a page is different. It's kind of like when you see something, you want to take a picture of it, thinking this is going to be an amazing photo, and then you hold up your camera and it's like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I feel like writing is the same way, where I have this image of like how I want the scene, but sometimes it's like trying to recreate that doesn't work as well. So I let Keenan do what he's good at, which is draw, and he translates what I want so well that it will either be exactly what I want or even better.
I'm gonna bring Meta in. Is writer Meta usually angrier at artist Meta, or is artist Meta usually angrier at writer Meta? We
bicker like an old married couple. I think it's just everyone is angry all the time, and there's an equal level of anger.
And at this point, you're not going to get a divorce, I'm going to assume.
No, I mean, we already had a kid, which is sacrimony, and we're trying to save this marriage. So,
No, it's so great the different relationships between people creating comics. And, like Will has, an artist that's doing a couple issues and then an artist doing a couple issues. So how have you worked with the back and forth between Alice and your first artist? Is there a difference between working with the two?
Actually, yeah, Pablo is great. But since he doesn't speak English, it's more that I don't think he feels as confident at changing things or anything like that. So there's not much back and forth. It's because I send a script that's pretty basic, and then let him get it translated, and then he comes back with the layouts and like that. With Alice, it's a little more give and take because she does speak English, even though she's in France.
Mhm.
And it's a lot more, I think, collaborative because, you know, she doesn't hesitate to call me out when I do something stupid, which is great. You know, so I can, no, I totally meant to do that. Yeah, no, she'll say, well, I think this might work better this way. And typically it's always better. You know, because when the artists are invested like that, it's always going to be better than something that I can see. You know, because thinking visually is the whole of their, you know, everything that they do. Whereas me, I try to do it occasionally. You know.
Right. Well, Garth, when you're putting together a horror comic, because I've never written a true horror. What is the first thing that comes to you? Is it imagery? Is it plot? Is it character? Is it emotion?
Probably character and the end. Kind of like
Okay.
I know where I want it to end up, and then like the idea of the characters, personalities. Sometimes, like with Witcher Code, I had way too many characters, and so I ended up just putting a bunch of my friends into it because I had a better idea of like their personalities.
How they would speak if their arm was being ripped off.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do it, actually. I was gonna say you didn't have too many characters. You killed so many of them that they really became just a few characters quite quickly, actually.
Yeah.
Do your friends know that they were those characters, or is that your little
I
secret?
used their real names. I mean, like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I gave Keenan photos of them, and
Oh, that's really interesting.
Wow, I don't know how
were they happy.
How
with
do they
that?
feel about that? Yeah.
I messaged them and I was like, "Hey, who wants to die?" In a comic?
My brother went to Clemson for college, and he met a guy who was going to do a horror movie, and he was going to act in it until the guy started really asking him how he wanted to die. And Donnie decided he didn't want to be an actor that bad because he wasn't really sure it was still going to be a movie. It got a little too real for him, so he kind of like backed out of that decision.
Like, all right, the second round of audition, get in the shed.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Matt, I think we've probably talked about this before, but you know, we come at it from a script standpoint. Do you actually write a script, or do you just start? What's your process look like?
It starts with me just typing on the actual comic page and just like throwing dialogue on there and seeing like how much room it takes up, and then editing it down and figuring out like, all right, well, let me end this page on this note, and then like, you know, it makes the reader want to turn to see what's on the other page. And I think it's better to plan that out that way. And then I plan the artwork around whatever's written, like how much space I have and like what I think should be done. Like a lot of the visual stuff doesn't really like the visual gems, I should say, don't actually happen until I start drawing and like figure out what I need to do, because I have like no visual imagination, which is ironic.
Really?
Yeah, it's like if I'm reading a book and there's like a description of something, like I can't actually see it in my head. But like I'm sure that if I was reading it and like drawing at the same time, like then I'd be like, you know, okay, now I know what this looks like. But it's weird. Like I also have really bad facial recognition. So like if I saw any of y'all on the street, like I might not even recognize you. It's so bad.
Well, Steve Bryant, who writes The Catch, I believe he writes and
Athena
draws
Voltaire.
Athena, but he does the art on Athena Voltaire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
so he's a writer artist just like you, but he has, is it interfacia? Did I make that up?
I don't know. I think
It sounds legit. Let's go with it.
Okay, he has interfacia. He has a thing where he legitimately cannot visualize in his mind things, so he has to work completely from source material. But his artwork is amazing. So it's kind of like, it's sort of surprising when you hear that, but also obviously people can work and draw amazingly. Like I can really visualize things, and then like crippled friggin' Captain Hookhand. If you ever read Alan Moore's porno Lost Girls, I'm like that guy. Which, if you haven't, it's pretty good if you're over 18. I am not saying not to if you're not under 18. Don't even do. Zuck, I know you're watching this. I know you're going to send me your Zuck bucks. I'm not saying they should, but it's a great porno. I got lost. I'm sorry. But I'm saying
that was a great tangent right there.
I can visualize and I can't draw. And I think I'd rather be able to draw without visualizing of the two. And that's the show tonight.
Also,
well, why don't we run back into the campaigns one last time before we take everything off the rails?
Oh no, I closed the thing. Do I need the thing again?
Nah, it's all right. Just
okay.
So this is your let's do Sacrimony. This is a reprint of issue 1. There's only 2 left because Kurt really had a huge day and we told him, hey, we appreciate you coming in. Go to bed. Tell us about Sacrimony. You can do more than 30 seconds. You can go just a little longer because we only
yay. Well, it is about a girl who died, but then she got better. But as with all mysterious resurrection stories, there's a catch, which is that she has no memory of her past, no idea why she has magical powers, and no idea why she has to hide her new demon wings from society. She's got a lot of questions, and unfortunately, the only person who can answer those questions is her mother, who would honestly rather not answer those questions. So yeah, she's more fixated. Aw, thanks, Blake.
Yeah.
So yeah, her mom's more
Sacrimony
fixated.
looks so badass. We have to get that in. Sacrimony looks so badass. It does. Now go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes. So her mom doesn't want to answer any questions. She's more focused on just fleeing the past, pretending nothing weird happened, and trying to somehow live a normal life. But I mean, when your daughter has demon wings, can your life really be normal?
Yeah. And I do want to just point out, we talked about it the last time you were on, I think it was issue 3, that there was this really amazing moment that just encapsulated to me as a straight white guy who's lived in America my entire life, the way that the white privileged, I'll say,
The human privileged
in your story can treat those who they consider othered. And I thought it was a really intriguing and illuminating thing to read. So it's fun, it's exciting, and then there's some stuff that I think is pretty important in your book. So I think it's definitely something. Please catch up on this this series if you haven't read it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. And Garth, you can talk about Skinned and Witch Creek Road because we got time, buddy.
Yeah. So basically, I guess my pitch, and it's not going to tell you anything about the story, but like, it's my love letter to horror. Like I'm obsessed with horror movies. I love them. And yeah, it's just like what has happened from all that kind of like going in here and coming back out. Also, I love my backers. They're awesome. There we go. Althea is still there. So I just want to say hi, Althea, and I'm going to call her out. I'm going to cover her last name though. She's in the book there.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we have a star. We have a star cameo on Explain Yourself, guys.
Wait, you didn't kill her, did you?
No, she survived.
Okay.
Our story is that we were friends back in like elementary school, but something happened and we drifted apart.
Gotcha.
And the comic brought you back. No, I mean, I do want to say, it is the mystery of JL, Charlie Stickney. Mark Zuckerberg did say that, Skinned is the creepiest horror comic. I don't want to overdo it, but horror in comics is good and fun and enjoyable. Rarely does it keep me up at night. Witch Creek Road did. It really freaked me out. I can say that James Powell's short story and Nightmare Theater creeped me out too. Those are like the 2 times that horror comics have scared me. And I've read multiple horror comics and enjoyed them. And I just think that when you can take static images with no sound and creep me out, you've done something that very few people have succeeded in. And I'm excited to get into Skinned and see you do it again. And the imagery on the Kickstarter page is at least as freaky as Witch Creek Road, because I don't know if it's freakier, because there's some, I'm counting a bunch of arms here. If you haven't read it, this might not mean anything to you, but if you have, you're with me. But like the Skinned Man imagery is at least as creepy as anything in the first volume, and I'm here for it, buddy.
Yeah, Keenan is so good.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, since we got time, when we were on Webtoons, we had guest artists because we just didn't have time. Like, Keenan puts a lot of effort into his artwork, and
Right.
he didn't have enough time to do all the different chapters, but now we do. So we're going back and doing like a director's cut kind of stories where we're doing them like it's the same sort of story, but it's with Keenan's art. So we'll start seeing those next year.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, Will, are we going to do it?
Let's do it, man.
All right.
Thanks for coming, guys. And
we'd love to have you stay, but if it is bedtime, and I know at least one of you is way past your bedtime to join us, I'm not going to out.
It is, but I had caffeine, so I might as well stay up.
All right.
I made the mistake of having caffeine.
We were happy you made that mistake to be with us. So, Garth, you gonna hang with us through these campaigns, or are you gonna
9 p.m. here?
Sweet. All right. Canada's just north to me, so I don't know where you are on the thing. So, but I'm happy to see that you're with us. All right. So, I know that Stake, Jessamy Presents Stake, is about 3 days left on the campaign, I believe.
Yep, August 8th.
David Byrne's colonial era story about a vampire. Vampires exist in Stake, and they keep a low profile, and they want to keep all the monsters that might bring their existence into the knowledge of humans. They want to keep it quiet, and all of a sudden some weird stuff starts happening at in colonial plantation, and Jessamy is sent to America to investigate, and the artwork is extraordinary. I'm looking for there it is. So Stake Presents Jessamy. This is the end of the prequel. You can catch up on all of the books. David Byrne is great. He is the ex-co-publisher of Scout Comics. I no longer have to kiss his ass, so I'm going to say it's a great book. Guy. And the book is well worth your time. Now,
how about that guy?
That guy? He is still my co-publisher, so I'm supposed to kiss his ass, and that's why I don't on this show, as kind of some weird point of pride. Except he writes a goddamn good comic book. Glarian is also a prequel to his World of White Ash. I am on record saying White Ash is one of my favorite fantasy comics at this point, now that we're into mini issues of all time, but definitely of the Kickstarter era. Charlie, Connor Hughes, Finn Cram have built an amazing world, and Glarian is a prequel of the 100 years earlier.
Well, it's set in the 70s, but then it's also about her time, like 1,000 years before, I think.
That's right. So
a lot of years.
Many years. So if you have not, how could you not have? I think they have 1,200 backers. So I am probably preaching to the choir. But if you haven't heard of it, please check out White Ash and Glarian. I would back this Kickstarter if you prefer to go to your local comic shop. And this is true for Stake as well. You can go to your local comic shop and say, I want to read Stake and White Ash, and they can order it for you. So, but I would back the Kickstarter.
Spectacular art by Romy. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Romina Morinelli, I think. Did I get that right? Maybe. I don't know.
Is it Romina or Romina?
I don't know. I've heard Charlie say it one way, and I thought Romina would be right, but then I'm an ignorant,
All right. Well, I butchered it in my head. So
Romina sounds more what I've heard, but Romina really runs off the tongue. Yeah. Romina.
But she's awesome.
And we also have another fantasy unicorn vampire hunter. Now, Stake and Glarian are more mature readers, at least, high school and up. Unicorn Vampire Hunter is all ages. It's a fairy tale about a unicorn that hunts vampires. Best title ever, best concept ever. But if you've got a kid in your life that you want to get a fairy tale about a unicorn who stabs vampires in the heart, here's your damn book. I mean, come on, guys, that's it.
I should get it for my kid.
Yeah.
For the kid.
You read it for your cat?
Yeah, I think he'd appreciate it.
Listen, I love your pitch for Sacrimony, but I love the pitch for Unicorn Vampire. He hunts vampires with his horn. Duh. I love.
Okay, that's amazing. I bow down to that.
But you're a close second. Okay, I love yours.
I can't beat a unicorn. I can't. There's no way.
So we also have I Knew the Wind Was Cold, which is a series of country western inspired horror stories. He calls it a collection, not an anthology, because anthologies are too hard to produce, which I think is pretty funny. But there are four stories in this, and definitely intriguing. Two of the stories come from a country western singer songs, and the creators have approached that singer to let him know that his songs have created a horror comic. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to get in the books.
How about Skies of Fire, the collected edition? We have.
Okay, guys, this one is really struggling. We
help it.
We've got to huddle together. They only have 2,136 backers and have only raised $138,000 so far. Guys,
my goodness, those poor guys.
We have to come together for Ray Chow and Vincenzo. They have. I'm joking about how well they've done, but the book is great. So
beautiful.
If you haven't read it, it's epic in every sense of the word. The artwork is absolutely breathtaking. It's, a big story. It's got Zeppelins.
Very well drawn Zeppelins. I'm so jealous of those Zeppelins.
Those Zeppelins could probably, honestly, if you gave the drawings to an engineer, I bet they could create a Zeppelin that flew. I mean, it is extraordinary.
It's ridiculously good.
It's one of those things where, do they need another backer? No. Do they deserve another backer? Yes. So check out this campaign. There are 2 hardcovers if you need to catch up, or if you just need volume 2. Extraordinary book, extraordinary team, and check it out.
Let's see. Red Sunrise. Vampires in Feudal Japan. And it's a novel. Or a novella, right?
Yeah, our buddy JD Oliva, when we first met him, he was bringing Red Sunrise to Kickstarter as a comic book. They did 1 issue, and he and the artist didn't jibe for issue 2. He wasn't real forthcoming on that. I don't know the exact story behind that, which is probably going to be, we should do a dark explain yourself, where we get into the rough stuff. What do you think, Will? Kind of a serial type podcast?
I'm betting, we probably wouldn't get that many guests.
Fewer.
It depends. Are we here to shit talk people, or are we here to just talk about the struggle and how real it is?
Explain
and also
yourself
shit talk people.
Yeah, explain yourself is all positive, but I do want just a real negative. Just no, I don't.
Yeah, he probably didn't say what happened because he doesn't want to put anyone on blast. So I get it.
JD's great. For whatever reason, he got 1 issue of a 4 or 5 issue miniseries drawn. And he just decided, I'm going to finish my story. I want to finish my story. So he did it as a novella. Red Sunrise is, back in samurai times. And Shogun is a vampire and somebody has to deal with it. And I'm
That
like,
is an interesting setting for a vampire story, because I mean, usually you see like, all right, vampire in Europe or like Transylvania or America, but like to put it in feudal Japan, that's pretty kick-ass.
yeah. So I'm very interested to see how he closes it out. And he's really found his niche. His niche was not making comics. His niche is writing prose. So this is a way to figure out if you like his writing in about 180 pages. You like it, then you can go to his werewolf books, his other books. It's, I think it's really
180
smart.
pages is a pretty short read. That's like,
Yeah.
a night or two.
Yeah, for you, 7 months for me, but a short read.
Is that all we have? No, actually, if we have a couple of friends that have current Kickstarters, they haven't been on the show yet, and hopefully they will be. We'll see. But a Steampunk Carol, which is from Last Ember Press, publisher Brant Fowler and Lisa Fowler. It's beautiful art. I forget the artist's name, but she does, and it's just a beautiful looking book. And hey, it's Christmas in
it's
Steampunk Christmas in July.
And the Mouse King, right? Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if they're going to come on because I haven't talked to them about it, but I hope they do.
Yeah,
but they're not going to come on next week. I don't think next week is not going to be comic books. But please, we want to have an Earth for comics to exist on, right? So we think we're going to have a climate scientist who is running a Kickstarter campaign to create a podcast. The podcast is to bake an apple pie with another scientist buddy of hers.
I love everything about what you just said.
Yes. Carl Sagan has said, if you want to bake an apple pie, all you need to do is create the universe first. So they are going to go through in their podcast all of the coincidences that start from the Big Bang to the kitchen where they make their apple pie.
Sounds pretty awesome.
It is an amazing idea for a podcast. I do have it in here. It is Make a Planet Pod, and it's Jackson Phoebe Make a Planet. We're still trying to make sure that they can come on. If they can, we're going to make it that podcast centric show, because I couldn't figure out how I could give them the time they deserved and a comic creator the time they deserved. I felt like let's do a podcast about the planet. I am I was born I was raised a really moderate Union Democrat, and the world has made me a commie hippie, a revolutionary.
Excellent.
I don't want to be. I really want to be. I want to be a middle of the road moderate, and I don't feel like I've changed that much, and yet now I'm just like, revolution.
Yes.
So
yes, the world unite.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're still making sure that they can come on, but we're hoping to talk climate, science, dinosaurs, all kinds of crazy science next week. So I hope you can join us. And if they don't make it, who knows what we'll do. Will and I might do
I will
another
be in the
round.
comments alongside Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes. Okay. You bring 1% of your net worth, and Mark, you bring 1% of yours.
We'll be good.
I'll give you yours back if Mark gives us his.
Cool, thanks.
We have one other campaign, our buddy Mick Byers, who also has done his a Queen of Mars series. Plus, he's worked on this little series that nobody's heard of called, I think, White Ash. I don't think anybody's heard of that.
Not so much.
But he just launched kind of a Good Girl in the West series called Royo Cheeks, which looks really cute, and you should give it a look too.
That's right. And I do believe he will be on 2 weeks from now if everything works out. So
nice.
Everybody, thank you for the comments. They were great. They kind of broke my brain at one point, but I loved it. as we go out, I'm going to say that Zuckerberg is here. His good pals at Onishi Press have a pre-launch page that just went up today. Oh my gosh.
If only there was a link to it that we could show on the
yeah,
screen.
We're gonna kind of stall for time in case that link shows up.
Come on, Zuck, get it together.
If not, I bet we could be convinced to share that banner next week after we finish with the Make a Planet Pod people. But yeah, no, Onishi Press, I love what they do.
Yeah.
Talking about climate change, they gave $1 for every backer they had in the last campaign to plant a tree. So I don't remember how many. Oh, okay. So Mark checked with them. The Kickstarter is kickstarter/onishipress.com. So,
and actually, that reminds me, I want to get in touch with them and talk to them about that tree donation thing and see how that went, because that's something that I am extremely interested in for.
Oh my God, yes, follow up with them. Like that is amazing.
Yeah, I think it was like I can't remember how many backers, but it was you know, it's like a bucketry, and they're like ambassadors for it. They're like part of the group now. It's pretty cool. So, all right, Madagar, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody in the comment, thank you so much. I had a weird good week. It wasn't like a bad week. It was just weird. And I kind of have been spinning all week, and I'm really, really happy to end it with you guys. I had a blast, and thank you for allowing me to kind of get lost in this. Oh, hell yeah. Yes. Mariah Curry says, hell yeah, commie hippie revolution.
Rise up.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.